How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. A little bit of Colorado jams in the form of Weldworks Brewing. It is their Stariest night, Imperial Milk Stout. This comes courtesy of my boy Carson. Thank you very much, brother. He went out to Denver to watch his Jaguars, that's how you say it, by the way, beat up on the Broncos, which isn't in tall order right now. Well, maybe by the time this airs it is. But anyway, and he got a bunch of beers, went back to Florida. He sent me beers. Thank you very much, brother. This is, like I said, an Imperial Milk Stout. It's a milk sugar, hazelnut, toasted coconut. Thank you very much. And milk chocolate Imperial Stout. It's 11.5%, so she's a sipper. And it was canned less than a month ago, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Let's dive into this sucker. I sound like I'm talking a little bit slower. I am. I'm making a conscious effort not to talk like Speedy and Gonzalez. It just bothers me. It's kind of like an acceleration thing. Sometimes I get a little ahead of myself when it comes to beer reviews, and I have to force myself to slow down. I think it's a good life lesson for all of us in life. Anyway, that or it could be he brought me other things back from Colorado, if you know what I mean. He didn't, by the way. Anyway, I mean, it looks like an adjunct stout in that you have this kind of big, rich, dark kind of stout that did have a head. Mocha, kind of malt ball colored head that dissipated really quickly. You're talking about milk sugar, fine. That doesn't really kind of kill the head all that much. We see in a lot of nice, creamy, fluffy milk stouts. Hazelnut, sure. Toasted coconut, that's the big one. Coconut, more often than not, I've noticed that can really be a head killer. But if it delivers the kind of taste that you hope a beer can deliver, I'm cool with that. Because the thing is, the head's still there. More often than not, once you kind of get these beers and you give them a little swirl, that head comes back pretty vigorously. Not in this case, but you know what I mean. But it's still kind of there. And label-wise, kind of cool. Stariest of night. Play on words. What are you going to do? So yeah, I mean, she looks more like barley wine to me than an Imperial Milk Stout, but I'll take that. Rich brown in color. A little bit of mahogany's in there, getting dark. It's not necessarily like a black beer, but at the same time, she does have some darkness to her. Some little bit of blue Bacher. Let's get a nose. I mean, this is a hazelnut bomb. I mean, this is a combination of chocolate malt, hazelnut, and I think that coconut is adding a little bit of kind of like a hazelnut coconut kind of candy vibe to it. So you get that kind of milk chocolate, that candied vibe from that milk chocolate malt kind of vibe in combination with that milk sugar, in combination of that coconut, in combination of that hazelnut, all working together. Almost like a cold press kind of coffee. It doesn't give you a ton of coffee on the nose, but there's enough of that coffee vibes on the edge. And if you've had enough of beer that either ekes toward hazelnut or a big hazelnut coffee, this is going to bring you right there really quick. Let's dive in. Cheers. That's dangerous. That is dangerous. Is that what? That, Jesus. Good God. Listen, it's sweet. It's sweet, so you know you're drinking a big beer. But man, I'm drinking like milk drink. Milk chocolate, hazelnut, coconut drink. It's sweet. It's an 11% stout. It's a bittering to the malt, which if it didn't exist, it could be a combination of a bittering from the malt in combination with hops. But whatever it is, thank you very much. This is very sweet, and without that bittering component from the roasted malt and the hops, I think this would just be like drinking like straight sugar water syrup. So it's appreciative. Even then, it's a little bit cloying. It is the manifestation of coconut hazelnut chocolate spread in beer form. I mean, this is just candy bars. Candy bars. What's that from? Oh, Super Troopers. Candy bars. And everything you would think of when it comes to new school kind of pastry stouts. But the thing about it is a lot of the pastry flavors in here you're not really expecting. You know, I think of coconut, I don't think of pastry. Sure, you think of candies when you think of coconut, but coconut in and of itself isn't inherently sweet. So coconut's not like an overtly sweet kind of flavor. Hazelnut is not overtly sweet. Sure, milk sugar. Yes, it didn't have sugar to name, but even then, for me, while it does have a sweetness to it, it doesn't get to this cloying kind of standpoint. And with a combination of the bittering in here, whether it be from the hops, whether it be from the roasted malt, or a combination of the both, and for all intents and purposes, you would not expect this to be that sweet. Sure, there's probably a lot of residual sugars, probably under attenuated, yada yada yada. But in the grand scheme of things, if this sweetness was knocked down a notch, this might be one of the better, if not one of the best, kind of non-barrel aged adjunct stouts I've had in quite some time. That sweetness just keeps me from getting there. And that's after a few sips. Usually, at this point, 4 sips in, I'd acclimate to that sweetness, and everything would be hunky-dory. Yeah, here, it's just still a bit too sweet for me. For me, you might be different, but for me, it's just a little bit too sweet. That's pretty much it. Yeah. I will like it, though. That's the thing. I want to say I like it, but man, it's sweet. Man, that's sweet. And that's pretty much it. I think that's all it is. It's gobs and gobs of every ingredient in here in a very balanced manner. Everything is very much in the same level, at least in the same kind of tier as each other, without an overpowering of one or the other. Hazelnut leading the way. But if anything, the sweetness is just a little bit too big. That's not necessarily an ingredient you think about. You don't go, okay, sweetness is the biggest thing here. Sure, you could call it a sweet beer. You'd be like, when you're talking about stuff being balanced, the sweetness is just a little bit too big. But in these beers, that's typically not the case. But here, man, yeah, it is. Let's put it this way. This beer would sit perfectly at like the middle to the end of a crazy ass bonker share. Like if someone like cracked a bunch of crazy beers, and then you're like, okay, let's get back at it. Recycle down. Usually when I go to a big share, it'll be like, you elevate till you get to that person that brings that 5-bottle Black Tuesday vertical. You go through that one, you go, okay, we need to fucking reset before we all die of diabetes. And then you start at the beginning again. And then you start working yourself back up. But that second round tends to go exponentially faster. You're like, let's drink a Berliner, let's drink a Pale Ale, let's drink an IPA, and you just bang, bang, bang. This would be like that second round to where your palate is acclimated to a heaping amount of sweetness. I think this would play really well. So let's talk about it. It's one of the better adjunct Pale Ales. Yeah, that's a Pale Ale. Looks like it. Adjunct-laden Imperial Stouts that I've had as late. It's in the conversation, so even with it being as sweet as it is, in a perfect world, you either let this sit or Weldworks, dial that sweetness down a bit, and you've got home run status, grand slam status. Value availability? No idea. Carson, somebody out there, let me know what's what. Leave you with, if you like what, will you like this? If you like sweet Imperial Stouts, if you like pastry stouts, if you like huge beers, big beers, and you like holding shares where you do kind of run tiers of craziness after Black Tuesday verticals. There you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. You want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully you're enjoying a nice little Weldworks right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.